Hi, I'm Mike Wilhite, Wolf Trapper Education Coordinator for the state of Wisconsin, and I'm going to show you a basic, very basic wolf set here. This is a dirt hole set, and this set is responsible for most of the canines that are caught. And it's very easy to make and very basic, and there are a lot of different variations. I'm just going to show you the one type here. And what I did was I made a hole here. It's a 3-inch hole. I use an auger on an 18-volt drill. Brushless drills actually work better, but because you'll burn out the ones with brushes in them. But I use a 3-inch auger. You can use a 2-inch. I like the 3-inch. I like the big holes for wolves, and I like to elongate the hole, actually make the hole a little bit bigger. 2-inch will work fine. Make sure, like I say, make sure it's an 18-volt. 12 volts not going to do it. 18 or bigger. Lithium is better, and make sure it's got a reverse on it, because you're going to have to reverse them out once in a while. You're going to get stuck. I've got my hole made, and I have a 2-pound hammer with a digging tang on it for making the bed that the trap actually sits in. When I make my hole, and I got that hole at an angle, I like it as deep as possible, 6, 8, 10 inches deep as you can get it, at an angle. The angle isn't, it doesn't have to be a perfect 90 degree or 45 degree. It's not a perfect world. Wolves don't care. I've got my hole there. What I'm going to do is I took my hammer with the digging tang here, and I dug out a bed for this trap. I want the trap to be, once it's done, once the set is made, to be even with the ground or slightly below. I don't want it up a little bit. I want it either even or slightly below. This trap happens to be double staked. It's not coming out of the ground. Double 24-inch rebar in solid ground will hold just about any wolf out there. Again, solid ground. I've caught wolves with double 18-inch rebar in clay, and they didn't budge it. If you have any doubts in your mind about the ground, don't double stake it. Use a drag, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. You can use the earth anchors. There's an earth anchor on this trap here. Personally, if I'm going to stake it, I like rebar or the chain type earth anchors. The problem with earth anchors, the cable type, and they work 99% of the time, but you're going to get that one every once in a while. It's going to be a little bit out of the ground, and wolves, being powerful animals and have powerful jaws and teeth, will bite them off on occasion. It can happen. It has happened. If you feel comfortable using it, use it. Like I say, I like either the chain stake or double rebar. Now that I've got this pounded in, and you can make your bed deep enough to put the stakes underneath the trap. I always just put it off to the side. It just works best for me. I'm going to bed this trap, and I'm going to twist it in there so it's good and solid. And I like to put the spring under the loose jaw to kind of give it a little support there. But twist that and make sure that that trap is solid. You don't want a wolf coming up and stepping on the spring here, because if that trap rocks a little bit, you're going to spook them. This particular trap has a night latch on it, but you pull the pan down to where it's even with the jaws. I use trap covers. I use the nylon screen covers. Some people like the steel screen. That's fine, whatever works for you. Some people like to use something underneath the pan, and the idea behind this is to keep the dirt from going underneath the pan. You get dirt underneath the pan, and the animal steps on that pan of the trap, and it's not going off. So I put that on there, and then I'm going to take dry dirt, and I'm going to sift it over the trap. And then I'm going to fill in where the spring and stuff and then the stakes are around the edges. Sift that dry dirt over that trap. You don't want these chunks anywhere near or on the trap because that gets in between the jaws and the edges there, and that trap will not close all the way. And there's nothing worse than seeing a trap that's not closed because something like that stuck in it and the animal is gone. There, our trap, pretty much like that, covered up. I like to take and smooth it out just a little bit. I'll use the back of my hand because I'm obviously comfortable using traps. If you're not that comfortable, use the back of a trowel or something to kind of smooth it out a little bit. Then I'll take one last and just cover it up. What I'm going to do next is, now that I've got this all ready, I'm going to put some bait down in that hole, and the bait can be anything. Any of the commercial baits work fine. A piece of beaver meat, some old venison, just about anything. I've used chunks of deer hide from deer that I've shot, just a chunk of deer hide or something back in there. I might place a little bit of gland lure on the lip, on the bottom lip of the hole. Coyote gland will work, cat gland, anything like that. Then I'm going to give it a little shot of urine. I don't want the urine in this area over the trap. I'm going to shoot it on the back of the hole or maybe on that little bush there. Just not even, maybe 5 or 6 drops. That's all. I like just a little bit. Too much, and especially in the trap area, and that triggers a rolling instinct, sometimes a digging instinct, but a lot of times like your dog rolls in something. Wolves, coyotes, foxes all do the same thing. If this area is contaminated, they're going to roll in it, and of course they're going to snap the trap. You're going to have long hairs in the trap. Once that's done, you've got all this dirt here, right here, that from the trap bed and from digging the hole. And there's a couple things you can do. You can leave it just like that, and it makes the animal kind of step over into the trap, or you can take a garden tool and just kind of blend it all in. One thing that I have noticed about wolves, let's see, let me back up just a second. I've got that blended in there a little bit. It's a little bit different color than the dirt I brought with me, so I'm going to take some of that and just kind of throw it around and kind of blend it in. Keep it away from the trap that you already got set, but just kind of blend it in there a little bit. One thing that I have noticed about wolves is they're not bashful about working the set from the sides. They won't work it from the back like a gray fox will, but they will dig the holes from the side. Actually, right here is not a bad location because they'll have a hard time getting in here and actually working from the side because of the brush. So they're going to come around the front. Like a lot of canines, if there's something in that hole they want, they're going to dance around here till you catch them, provided they can't work that hole from the side. Another variation of this set I've seen guys out west use is they'll find a base of a tree with the root system that's kind of coming out in a V shape going towards the tree, and they'll put their hole in at the base of that tree, and that root system will kind of keep them from working the sides. Don't be afraid to take a stick or something. You can, I don't want to say fence them like you do cats, but you can divert them a little bit. You can put a stick or something here to make them step where you want them to step to a certain degree. But keep in mind that they will work it from the side. I'm going to talk just briefly about this drag setup here. And basically all this is, now if you, like I say, this is set up with the earth anchor and for double rebar. You can anchor it both ways, and they recommend in looser soils or soils that may not hold that anchor good, that you have it on a drag. That way if they pull the stakes or pull the cable stake, you've got another anchoring system here. What you can do is basically set the trap like I did here. You're going to have to dig your bed big enough to bury all that, or a lot of guys do too, is they set the trap, they get it bedded, then they throw the anchor, the drag up around the bush. And so it's already, you're going to have to bury the chain or cover that up. Again, it's not a perfect world. Wolves don't care, but they're already secured to something. If they happen to get off of that, I mean, this anchor, you know, good anchor is 3, 4, 5 pounds, or a good drag, and you want them to plow, tires them out, they're going to get hung up in the first bush, and they're going to be fairly close by. So basically, I mean, that's a simple wolf set in a nutshell.